Okay, here we have an Excel file for a sample shed construction project. Let's say you have to manage a project and you want to know how long it's going to take, but you don't want to pay for Microsoft project or some expensive project management software. You just want to know how long it's going to take. So here we have our tasks. So you're going to have a project kickoff meeting, and for simplicity's sake, everything is just going to be in days here. So you're going to have a start date and end date. So a duration of 1 day just means 8 working hours. You're going to start at 9 a.m., finish at 5 p.m., let's say. So let's calculate the start date and end date of each one of these tasks. So we're just going to begin with a reference to our project start date. Now, when are we going to end this project kickoff meeting? So we're going to start on January 1st. It's going to take 1 day, so we're actually going to end that day. So here's the issue. So if we say equals the start date plus the duration, it doesn't really end on January 2nd. It ends on January 1st. So it's actually, we want to subtract 1 here. So we're starting and finishing on the same date because this takes 1 day. So the stakeholder meeting, we're always going to start off this new task by referencing the last task, because we're assuming that these have to go in order. They have a dependency, one after the other. And we're going to add 1. So we're always going to start the morning of the following day. So is our formula going to work here? Let's copy these down. Let's see what happens. Oops. I missed 1 cell there. Let's take care of that. So it looks good. So we see here this takes 2 days, so it's going to take all day of the 2nd and the 3rd. So then we'll start on the 4th. So if I look, everything appears to be correct, which means that our project finishes on February 1st. But there's a little bit of a problem with this. This is technically correct, but this makes the assumption that the people working on this shed project are going to work 7 days a week. Now, actually accounting for the weekends is a little bit tricky. So you can take that as a challenge. There is a solution here with weekends if you want to peek at it. I'll take a look at that solution with you real quick, the solution with weekends. I added a new column, column D. So what this basically does is this takes the start date, adds the number of days for the task, subtracts 1. That was our whole formula from the first naive solution. But then here we got this formula. So it's 2 times the floor of the math of the duration divided by 7. So that's going to add 2 for each full week a task takes. So if a task goes 7 days, you know you're going to have 2 days on the weekend, so you're going to multiply that by 2. So that will account for long tasks, which is good. Tasks that span over a weekend. But we also need to check if we start or end on a weekday. And so we modify that as appropriate. So there's actually a lot of functions going on here. And this gets really complicated. If it starts to get really complicated, use real project management software. There's some free software called Project Libre. Works really well for this kind of thing. Otherwise, you could run into a few issues with your calculations. So accounting for weekends, this project takes long enough that our project is not going to end on February 1st. It's actually going to go until February 25th. But the people working for our project are going to be much happier because they don't have to work 7 days a week.